In this video, we're going to be looking at the antidote to Mula Banda, de-armoring the pelvic floor. As we can see, the pelvic floor has a lot of muscles in it, far too many for us to describe. Very simply, we're going to be thinking about the front muscles and the back muscles. So the best way to think of the back muscles is just to tense your butt cheeks together and release them. And to think of the front muscles, imagine that you're going to the bathroom, you need to urinate, and the muscle you use to stop peeing. So we're just going to use both of these muscles in the next exercises to get a very good understanding, a good feeling for our pelvic floor. Now, for most people, when we try to pump the pelvic floor muscles, our navel goes in. It's quite difficult to work our pelvic floor without pulling in our stomach. Now, to an extent, the fascia, the connective tissue, goes from our stomach and it comes all the way around into our pelvic floor. So these muscles are connected through the fascia, through the connective tissue, but it is possible for us to get more conscious control over all of these muscles in our pelvic floor. Now, energetically, our navel is also connected to our perineum, and our perineum is actually the main point that we want to work. In Kundalini, we say there's a plug, an energetic plug, which is around our perineum. Now, we don't need to worry about removing this. It's going to come away naturally when our energy is free to flow. It's very similar to the block that we were talking about around the sternum, where the channel of energy comes up from the navel and it's separating our lower chakras from our higher chakras so that we're not letting fear create our reality. The plug around our perineum is very similar. Once we have very good mastery of our energy body, we don't actually need to pump the pelvic floor anymore. We can just pull energy up through our perineum. It will naturally run through our spine, through the masculine pathway, and it will naturally come up through the feminine pathway, through the front of the body and all of the glands. Until we've removed this plug and until Kundalini Chi can just naturally flow through the perineum, we need to work the muscles in the pelvic floor. We need to de-armor them to get conscious control, and we need to start separating it from the stomach so that we can pump energy, we can pull energy into our lower chakras, and we can keep our belly soft and relaxed. This allows the chi and the prana to be in our three lower chakras, which is where a lot of our trauma, shame, and guilt is. In Kundalini bodywork, we're going through a process of filling these lower chakras full of energy in order to understand our traumas, our darker desires, our need for violence, and our shadow work, so we have more information to transform the energy in our body so it becomes healthy. Now, on a very practical level, and these exercises are very simple, we are just going to learn to pump the back muscles and pump the front muscles, which eventually starts to give us access to the PC muscle above the perineum. Just starting to pump the pelvic floor muscles, the front muscles and the back muscles, so that we can start to get conscious control of how energy moves through our body. So here we can see that I'm just pumping the back muscle and the front muscle. I'm clenching my butt cheeks together and I'm stopping myself from peeing. Butt cheeks together, stop peeing. This is just a very simple way to start to get conscious control of these muscles. Eventually we're going to look at softening the stomach. Now you might try to clench the bum cheeks together twice, stop peeing once, do it the other way around. We're just kind of playing with the muscles inside. Now this will eventually help us understand that in between the front muscles and the back muscles, we want to be able to pull up through the middle. And this is where you can see the perineum in a woman and in a man. Ultimately, we just want energy to run through this point, but we have to learn to use the muscles in the pelvic floor with a soft belly, which we achieve through the ujjayi breathing, the releasing breath, the transformative breath. And when we start to put these very simple practices together, we can get enough chi, enough energy into our lower muscles. So here I'm now doing the back and the front pumping, as you can see, and I'm starting to massage my belly just by breathing very deeply while pumping the muscles, clenching the butt cheeks together, stop peeing, start peeing, stop peeing, and massaging the stomach at the same time. I start to release the fascia around this part of the body, and I start to get conscious control of my pelvic floor independently of my stomach, independently of my navel. But we have to do these very simple exercises every day, and the energy channels in our body will open up. You can add complex yoga and meditation and pranayama, and you can do all these kinds of things if it makes you happy, but please just do come back to this very basic breathing while pumping the pelvic floor and relaxing the belly. And remembering, the more sound we make and the more we breathe out through the mouth, the more we're able to release what's going on. Now, as this starts to open up and the stomach fills, just the same as in shaking in the feminine, we start to see where the blocks are in the body. When we're really able to relax the belly and relax the core, then the spine's going to make snake-like motions. It's going to show us where the blocks are, and then we come up into the chest, letting more energy into the heart. But right now, we really want to be focusing just on the pelvic floor. We call this the antidote to Mula Banda, because a lot of people, when they practice yoga, they're pulling energy in through the root, through the perineum, and then they're locking that prana in and they're pulling it straight to the chest. So as we've said in previous videos, this just pulls all of the chi and the energy out of our lower energy centers and brings it into our higher chakras. In Kundalini bodywork, we are first putting the energy into the lower chakras, where the pain is, where the fear is, the desire to do harm or to be hurt, all our negative emotions. We're bringing chi into these places so that we can understand them, so we can understand ourselves and release our guilt and our shame and start to make the desires in our belly healthy. Such a simple practice. Pump the front, pump the back, relax the belly, and breathe. I'm going to repeat myself a lot because the simplest things are often the hardest for us to accept. The mind struggles when things are so simple, and it often struggles when we find something that will really help us. So this practice is just a few minutes a day, every day, massaging the belly. In this next clip, you can see I decided to take my top off, just so that you can really see what's going on in the stomach. And as I pump these muscles, now that the belly's soft, I start to feel energy move up into my sternum. So I can feel this coming through this channel and starting to open my chest. I'm mainly breathing in and out through my nose because this is already open for me, so it's just very nice to feel that energy fill the body, this ujjayi breath, the humming, the transformative breath, just feeling in the body the transformation. When there's blocks, when I'm unhappy, when I've had a stressful day, then I need to breathe out through my mouth and let that energy go. So yeah, we're just showing again, pumping, squeezing the butt cheeks together, and stop peeing. You might want to try and squeeze the left butt cheek and then the right butt cheek. That might sound impossible right now, but just creating the mental image, the mental connection, that you can try to only tense one butt cheek and not the other. And then as you're doing this, start to massage the belly, start to relax the stomach, and definitely not pumping in. We are not pulling the navel into the spine. We're trying to keep the belly soft all of the time. This isn't great for your abs, this isn't great for your six-pack, but it is very good for your emotional intelligence. And the more that you do these exercises, you just need to do 10 minutes of abdominal work, of core work afterwards, and then you'll have a happy body and a strong body. And once we get to a point in our practice, if everything feels open, you might just want to sit here, meditate and breathe. If you do this practice 5 minutes before your morning meditation, however long that is, if that's 5 or 10 minutes, just sit in stillness and then start to breathe energy through your spine. And if you do this every day, your spine will open, your belly will be soft, and you'll have much more access to how you feel. Just remember to keep those breaths very long and very deep.